Close your eyes, if you wish, and let the world around you soften, its edges blurring like the horizon at dusk. Imagine yourself standing on the banks of the Nile, the air warm and heavy with the scent of river reeds and sun-baked earth. The sky above is a deep, endless blue, fading to gold where it meets the desert's edge. This is ancient Egypt, a land of towering pyramids, golden gods, and lives woven into the rhythm of the river. Tonight, we embark on a gentle journey through this world, not to startle or excite, but to wander slowly through its daily routines, its sacred rituals, and the curious customs of those who prepared the dead for eternity. Our story is one of quiet discovery, meant to guide you toward rest. Its details unfolding like the soft ripples of the Nile against the shore. We'll explore the lives of those who toiled in the shadow of the pyramids, the embalmers who crafted mummies with care and reverence, and the mysteries buried beneath the sand. From the gritty realities of their work to the beliefs that shaped their days, we'll move deliberately, letting the rhythm of their lives carry us along. So, settle in, breathe deeply, and let the ancient world unfold around you, its whispers, a soothing invitation to drift into the past, the world of Egypt's lower classes. Picture yourself standing in a small village along the Nile. The air warm and thick with the scent of mud and blooming lotus flowers. The sun rises slowly, its golden light spilling across the river, turning its surface into a shimmering mirror. Around you, the village hums with the quiet rhythm of dawn women kneading dough for flatbread. Men trudging toward the fields with hoes over their shoulders, children darting through the dust with reeds in hand. This is the world of Egypt's lower classes, the farmers, laborers, and craftsmen who sustained the land of pharaohs, their lives a steady pulse of labor and resilience. Their days were shaped by the Nile's rhythms, their homes humble, their struggles constant, yet their world was rich with community and purpose. Let us wander through their lives, feeling the texture of their routines. Their story a gentle thread in the tapestry of ancient Egypt. The villages of Egypt were clusters of mud brick homes, their walls smooth and cool to the touch, their roofs thatched with palm fronds. Imagine stepping into one such home, its single room lit by a sliver of light through a high window. The floor is packed earth, swept clean, scattered with straw mats for sitting or sleeping. A small clay oven glows in the corner, its smoke curling upward, carrying the scent of baking bread. A family of farmer, his wife, their children shares this space. Their possessions simple: a few clay jars for grain, a woven stool, a woven basket holding onions and dates. The air is heavy with the warmth of mud brick and the faint sweetness of dried herbs, hung to ward off insects. Life here was tied to the Nile, its annual flood a lifeline that turned the desert fertile. Picture a farmer. Let us call him Amen. Rising before dawn, his linen kilt worn and patched, his feet bare against the cool earth. He walks to the fields, the air damp with mist, the scent of silt and water heavy around him. His hands grip a wooden hoe, its handle smoothed by years of use, as he breaks the soil, planting barley or emmer wheat. The work is grueling, the sun climbing higher, its heat pressing against his back. Sweat beads on his brow, mingling with the dust, but he moves with a steady rhythm, his life bound to the land's cycle of flood and harvest. Food was simple, a reflection of the land's bounty. At midday, Amen might pause under a sycamore tree, its shade a brief respite. His wife Maret brings a basket of flatbread, its surface crisp, and a handful of dates, their sweetness a small luxury. A clay cup holds beer, brewed from barley, its taste slightly sour but refreshing. The air carries the scent of the river, mingled with the earthiness of grain and the faint tang of fish drying nearby. Meals were shared, the family sitting cross-legged on mats, their laughter soft but warm. A moment of connection in a day of toil-docked clothing was practical, suited to the heat. Men wore kilts of white linen, their chests bare, while women draped themselves in long, sleeveless dresses, their fabric dyed in muted blues or reds when they could afford it. Sandals of woven reeds protected feet from the scorching ground. Though many went barefoot, their soles toughened by years of walking. Jewelry, even among the poor, was Kamana's string of faience beads, a copper bangle, a charm carved with a scarab for luck. These small adornments, glinting in the sun, were a quiet assertion of identity, a way to stand out in a world of uniformity. The village was a community, its people bound by shared labor and ritual. Imagine a festival day, the air alive with the sound of drums and the scent of roasted goose offered to the gods. Villagers gather by the river, their voices rising in songs to Osiris, their hands clapping to the rhythm. Children weave through the crowd, their laughter bright, while women exchange gossip, their fingers busy with baskets or looms. The temple, a modest structure of mud brick, is the heart of these gatherings, its priests burning incense, its altars laden with bread and flowers. These moments, though fleeting, were a balm, a reminder of connection in a life of hardship. Yet, life was not without its challenges. The Nile's flood could fail, leaving fields dry and families hungry. Disease was a constant shadow, spread through the river's water or the flies that swarmed the village. A fever could claim a child in days, and remedies, herbs, honey, prayers offered little certainty. The air, thick with dust and damp, carried the scent of illness, a reminder of the fragility of life. Taxes, paid in grain or labor, were a burden, the pharaoh's overseers ever watchful. Amun might work extra hours in the fields, his body aching, to meet the quota, his family's survival hanging in the balance. The embalmers, whose work we'll explore later, were part of this world, their craft a necessity for the dead, but a curiosity to the living. Villagers like Amun might pass their workshops, the air heavy with the scent of natron and resin, their tools glinting in the sun. These men, skilled but stigmatized, were both revered and avoided, their work a bridge between life and eternity. The lower classes, though distant from the mummy's sacred rites, were touched by the same beliefs. Their prayers to Osiris or Anubis, a quiet echo of the embalmer's rituals. As you walk through this village in your mind, notice the rhythm of their lives, the steady tread of feet, the soft clink of tools, the murmur of voices by the river. This was the heartbeat of Egypt, not in its golden tombs or towering obelisks, but in the daily struggles and small joys of those who kept the land alive. Their world was one of effort, of survival, but also of moments of warmth, the shared meal. A woven bracelet, a prayer whispered at dusk. Now, as we linger in this humble world, let us shift our gaze to a single figure. A man whose life and work shaped the eternal journey of Egypt's dead. His story, a window into the sacred and the Ru. Strange. The life of an Egyptian embalmer. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a small workshop on the outskirts of an Egyptian village. The air heavy with the scent of natron, resin, and the faint temps of the Nile nearby. The sun is low, casting a golden glow across the mud brick walls, their surfaces cracked from years of heat and wind. Inside, a man moves with quiet precision, his hands steady as he sorts piles of salt-like natron crystals and bundles of linen strips. This is Hedi, an embalmer, a man whose life is dedicated to preparing the dead for their eternal journey, a craft both sacred and shadowed by the stigma of touching death. His days are a rhythm of ritual and labor, his hands stained with the materials of his trade, his life a bridge between the living and the afterlife. Let us step gently into his world, not to startle or dwell on its strangeness, but to understand the man who shaped Egypt's mummies. His story a soft thread in the tapestry of the ancient world. Heti was born in a village near Memphis, the son of a potter, his childhood filled with the earthy scent of clay and the hum of the Nile's rhythm. As a boy, he watched his father shape jars for grain or wine, his hands mesmerized by the wheel's spin. But Hetty's path diverged when an uncle, an embalmer, took him as an apprentice, seeing in the boy a steady hand and a quiet disposition. The work was not glamorous. Embalmers were respected for their skill, but avoided for their association with death. Their lives spent in the shadow of Anubis, the jackal-headed god of mummification. At 16, Hetty entered this world, his days now filled with the scent of resin and the weight of sacred duty. The workshop, a low mud brick structure, is Hetty's domain. Picture its interior, lit by the soft glow of oil lamps, their flames flickering against walls stained with smoke and myrrh. Shelves hold jars of natron, their surfaces dusted with salt, and pots of resin, their contents dark and viscous. A wooden table, worn smooth by years of use, stands at the center, its surface scarred from knives and tools. The air is heavy, carrying the sharp bite of natron and the sweetness of myrrh, mingled with the faint mustiness of linen stored in damp corners. Hetty's tools: a bronze knife, a reed hook, a bone scraper, neatly arranged, their edges glinting in the lamplight, each a testament to his craft. Hetty's day begins at dawn, his linen kilt tied tightly, his feet bare against the cool earth floor. He kneels before a small shrine to Anubis, a clay statuette of the jackal god adorned with a single lotus flower, its petals wilting in the heat. He whispers a prayer, asking for precision and protection, his voice soft but steady. The work is meticulous, its rituals governed by centuries of tradition. A body brought from a nearby village lies on the table, its form covered with a linen sheet to honor its dignity. Hetty begins with natron, scattering the drying salt over the skin, its crystals glinting like frost. The process, lasting weeks, is a slow dance of preservation, each step a gesture toward eternity. The embalming process, though sacred, was not without its grim realities. Hetty's hands, stained with resin, move with care as he prepares the body, removing what must be removed with a bronze hook, the air sharp with the scent of cedar oil used to cleanse the space. He packs the body with natron, its drying power drawing moisture from the flesh, leaving it ready for wrapping. Linen strips, soaked in resin, are wound tightly, their texture rough against his fingers. The air grows heavy, the scent of myrrh, and natron blending with the faint tang of decay, a reminder of the body's mortal past. Yet Hetty's focus is unwavering, his movements a ritual as much as a task, his craft a bridge to the afterlife. Life as an embalmer was solitary, but not. Without community, Hetty works alongside two apprentices, young men learning the trade, their hands less steady but eager. They share meals of bread and lentils eaten under the shade of a palm tree, the air carrying the Nile's cool breath. Their laughter, though rare, is warm, a moment of connection in a trade that sets them apart. Villagers like Eamon the farmer pass the workshop with a nod, their respect tinged with unease. Hetty's status is ambiguous, his skill vital, his touch taboo. He lives in a small mud brick home nearby, its single room holding a straw mat, a clay jar for water, and a small altar to Osiris, the god of the dead, whose presence guides his work. The tools of his trade are artifacts of devotion. A bronze knife, its handle carved with a scarab, cuts linen with precision. A clay jar sealed with wax holds myrrh, its scent a constant in his days. Amulet scarabs, eyes of Horus are placed within the mummy's wrappings, their surfaces cool against his fingers, their power believed to protect the dead. These objects, found in tombs by modern archaeologists, speak of Hetty's care, each one a prayer for the soul's journey. The air in the workshop, thick with resin and dust, carries the weight of these rituals, a reminder of the sacred woven into the mundane. Hetty's life was not without risk. The materials he used, natron, resin, oils, were costly, and a mistake could ruin a mummy, Angering a family or priest, disease was a constant threat. The bodies he handled, though cleansed, could carry illness, and the workshop's damp air bred fevers. Hetty burned incense to ward off spirits, their smoke curling through the room, and wore a faience amulet for protection, its blue glaze glinting in the lamplight. Taxes, paid in grain or linen, were a burden, his earnings modest despite the reverence of his craft. Yet he took pride in his work, each mummy a testament to his skill, each wrapping a step toward eternity. The luminaria, though distant from Hetty's workshop, were part of his world. Embalmers, like other laborers, might visit these places, their coins earned through weeks of toil. Picture Hetty stepping into a brothel at dusk, the air heavy with perfume and lamp oil. His visit a brief escape from the weight of death. The workers, like those in Rome, offered fleeting connection, their lives as precarious as his own. These intersections, though rare, were part of Egypt's rhythm, its people bound by shared needs and struggles. Contrast Hetty's life with the elite whose bodies he prepared. A noble's mummy might be adorned with gold, their wrappings fine. Linen, their tomb a monument of stone. Hetty's home, by contrast, was humble, his meals simple, his status marginal. Yet both were bound by Egypt's beliefs, their prayers to Anubis and Osiris a shared language. Hetty's hands, stained and calloused, were as vital to the afterlife as the pharaoh's scepter. His craft a quiet link between worlds. As we linger in Hetty's workshop, we see not just the embalmer, but the man, his steady hands, his whispered prayers, his life of purpose and shadow. His story, like the mummies he crafts, is one of endurance, a testament to Egypt's reverence for eternity. Now, as we step away from his lamplit world, we turn to the artifacts and mysteries that lie buried in the sand, their secrets waiting to be uncovered. The artifacts and secrets of Egyptian mummification. Asterisk. Imagine yourself standing in the quiet shade of a tomb's entrance, carved deep into the cliffs of the Valley of the Kings, the air cool and heavy with the scent of ancient stone and desert dust. The sun outside blazes, its light stopped short by the shadowed doorway, where hieroglyphs of Anubis and Osiris gleam faintly, their colors softened by centuries. Before you lies a world preserved in sand and silence, a treasure trove of artifacts that whisper of Egypt's reverence for the dead. The mummies, their wrappings brittle but enduring, and the tools of the embalmers, like Hetty, whom we met earlier, reveal a culture where death was not an end but a journey, its rituals both sacred and strange. Let us wander gently through this buried world, not to startle or dwell on its mysteries, but to uncover the stories etched in linen, clay, and gold. Their textures a soft echo of Egypt's eternal heart. The process of mummification. A cornerstone of Egyptian belief left behind a wealth of artifacts, each a testament to the care and skill of men like Hetty. Picture a tomb chamber, its walls painted with scenes of the afterlife Osiris judging souls. The Nile flowing with lotus flowers, the sky goddess Nut arching overhead. The air is still, carrying the faint scent of resin and natron, a reminder of the rituals performed here. At the center lies a mummy, its linen wrappings yellowed but intact, adorned with amulets of faience and gold. These wrappings, wound with precision, are artifacts in themselves, their layers holding the body's form, their surfaces marked with prayers inked in black. Archaeologists, sifting through the sands of Saqqara or Thebes, have uncovered such mummies, their preservation a marvel, their presence a window into the past. The tools of the embalmer, found in workshops or tucked into tombs, tell a story of craft and devotion. Imagine a wooden table in Hetty's workshop, its surface scarred from years of use, scattered with bronze knives, their blades worn but sharp, and red hooks, their tips curved for delicate work. A clay jar, sealed with wax, holds natron crystals. their salt-like texture glinting in the lamplight. Another pot contains myrrh, its dark, viscous contents releasing a sweet, heavy scent when opened. These tools, unearthed in sites like Memphis, are humble yet vital. Their surfaces worn by hands that sought to honor the dead. A bone scraper, its edge smoothed from scraping linen, lies beside a bundle of flax, its fibers ready to be spun into. Wrappings. Each object is a piece of the ritual, a step toward eternity. Amulets, small but potent, were the heart of the mummy's protection. Picture a scarab of green faience, its surface carved with a prayer to Ra, nestled within the mummies. Wrappings, its cool weight, a promise of rebirth. An eye of Horus, crafted from lapis lazuli, glints faintly, believed to guard against evil. These charms, found in countless tombs, were placed with care, their positions guided by the Book of the Dead. A papyrus scroll tucked beside the body, its spells inked in red and black. The air in the tomb, though still, seems to carry the echo of these prayers, their words a whisper of hope for the soul's journey. Archaeologists marvel at these finds, their colors vivid despite the centuries. Their presence a testament to Egypt's faith in the afterlife. The mummification process itself was a mystery, its details guarded by embalmers and priests. Hetties. Work began with cleansing, the body washed with Nile water, its scent earthy and cool. Natron spread in thick layers, drew moisture from the flesh, its crystals drying the skin to a leathery texture. The air in the workshop grew sharp with salt and resin, the scent mingling with the faint tang of cedar oil used to anoint the body. Organs, carefully removed, were placed in canopic jars, their lids shaped like the sons of Horus jackal falcon. Baboon, human each, guarding a piece of the soul. These jars, found in tombs across Egypt, are artifacts of precision, their alabaster surfaces smooth. Their inscriptions a prayer for protection. The linen wrappings, often hundreds of yards, were a labor of patience. Picture heady winding strips around the body, his hands steady, the linen soaked in resin to seal it against decay. The scent of myrrh and frankincense filled the air, their sweetness a counterpoint to the natron's bite. Each layer was a ritual, the final wrappings adorned with amulets or painted with spells. In wealthier tombs, gold masks or inlaid coffins added splendor. But even the humblest mummies, like those of villagers, bore the same care, their wrappings a testament to the belief that all deserved eternity. Archaeologists have found such mummies in mass burials, their simplicity as moving as the pharaoh's grandeur. The culture of mummification was steeped in symbolism. The scarab, a symbol of rebirth, mirrored the sun's daily rise. The eye of Horus, a ward against harm, echoed the god's own restoration. The Book of the Dead, its papyrus, brittle but legible, guided the soul through the underworld. It spells a map for navigating trials. These symbols, found in tombs from Giza to Luxor, were not mere decoration, but a language of faith, their meanings woven into Egypt's daily life. Villagers like Amen, whom we met earlier, prayed to these same gods, their small altars holding clay scarabs or lotus carvings. Their beliefs a quieter echo of the embalmers' rituals. The empire's diversity shaped these practices. Workers from Nubia or the Levant brought their own traditions, their amulets blending Egyptian gods with foreign symbols: a lion for strength, a crescent for the moon. Priests, overseeing the process, might incorporate hymns from distant temples, their voices mingling Greek or Canaanite words with Egyptian. The air in the workshop, thick with resin and prayer, carried this blend, a reminder of Egypt's place in a wider world. A faience bead, found in a Theban tomb, bears a Hittite design, its presence a mystery that hints at trade or travel. Its blue glaze a spark of connection across cultures. Mysteries remain in these artifacts. Why were some mummies wrapped with such excess, their linen layers numbering in the hundreds? Were they a display of devotion or a practical barrier against decay? Why do some amulets bear spells in unknown scripts, their meanings lost to time? The answers lie buried, but the objects endure: a knife, a jar, a scarab each, a whisper of the hands that shaped it. Picture Hetty pausing to place a scarab over a mummy's heart, his fingers lingering, or a priest chanting softly as the tomb is sealed, the air heavy with incense. Their work, preserved in these artifacts, was a bridge to eternity, a testament to Egypt's faith in the afterlife. As we linger in this world of stone and linen, we see not just the artifacts, but the people who crafted them, the priests, the villagers whose prayers echoed theirs. Their lives, preserved in these fragments, were part of Egypt's rhythm, their rituals as vital as the Nile's flood. Now, as we step away from these buried secrets, we turn to the lives of those who stood above them, the elite whose wealth and power shaped the land of the pharaohs, the world of Egypt's elite and their ties to mummification. Imagine yourself standing in the cool shade of a grand palace in Memphis, its alabaster walls gleaming under the midday sun. The air scented with lotus blossoms and the faint smoke of incense drifting from a nearby temple. The Nile sparkles in the distance, its waters a lifeline to the city's wealth, while palm trees sway gently, casting dappled shadows on polished stone floors. This is the world of Egypt's elite nobles, priests, and officials who lived in splendor, their lives a carefully choreographed dance of power, ritual, and luxury. Yet their connection to death, and to the embalmers like Hetty whom we met earlier, reveals a fascination with eternity that bound them to the humbler lives of the Nile's villages. Let us wander slowly through their world, not to dazzle or disturb, but to feel the rhythm of their days, their hidden ties to the mummies, and the stark contrasts that shaped ancient Egypt. The elite lived in a realm of deliberate opulence, their homes a testament to their status. Picture a noble's palace, its courtyard open to the sky, a reflecting pool lined with blue faience tiles shimmering in the sunlight. The walls are painted with scenes of feasts and hunts abysses soaring. Nobles spearing fish, their colors vibrant in reds, blues, and golds. Columns carved with lotus and papyrus motifs rise to support a cedar roof, its wood fragrant in the heat. The air carries the sweetness of myrrh, burned to honor the gods, and the faint clink of gold jewelry as servants move silently, their linen kilts pristine. This is the home of Tehotep, a high priest of Ammon, whose life is a balance of devotion and authority, his days shaped by the needs of the temple and the pharaoh. Tehotep's morning begins with ritual. Servants drape a fine linen robe over his shoulders, its fabric woven with gold thread, its weight light but regal. His head is shaved, a sign of purity, and anointed with scented oils, their fragrance of frankincense lingering in the air. His wife Nefertari prepares in a separate chamber. Her pleated dress of translucent linen, adorned with a collar of turquoise and carnelian beads. Her eyes lined with kohl, her lips touched with ochre. Slaves fan her with ostrich feathers, the air cool despite the rising heat. The couple's day is one of ceremony, Tehotep leading prayers at the temple, Nefertari overseeing the household, their actions a performance of power and piety that sets them apart from the villagers like Ammon. The Temple of Ammon, a vast complex of stone and gold, is Tehotep's domain. Picture him standing before a towering statue of the god, its eyes inlaid with lapis, its surface gleaming with offerings of honey and wine. The air is thick with incense, its smoke curling upward, mingling with the chants of priests in white robes. Tehotep's voice, steady and resonant, recites hymns, his hands offering lotus flowers, their petals soft against his fingers. The temple is a hub of wealth, its storerooms filled with grain, linen, and gold. Its priests a link between the divine and the mortal. His work, though sacred, is also political. his influence shaping the pharaoh's court, his alliances a web of favor and obligation. Nefertari's role, though domestic, is no less significant. Her palace hums with activity slaves grinding grain, weaving linen, or polishing silver vessels. The air carries the scent of baking bread, the tang of garlic, and the sweetness of date wine. She oversees banquets, their tables laden with roasted dye, goose, figs, and honeyed cakes. The guests, nobles, priests. Officials reclining on cushioned chairs, their laughter soft but calculated. Her charm, like Tehotep's oratory, is a tool. Her hospitality a stage for alliances. The banquet hall, lit by bronze lamps, glows with warmth. Its walls painted with scenes of the Nile, their colors a vivid contrast to the village's mud brick. Simplicity. The elite's connection to mummification was profound. Their wealth, ensuring their journey to the afterlife, was grand. Picture Tehotep commissioning a tomb, its chambers carved deep into the cliffs, their walls painted with spells from the Book of the Dead. His body, when the time comes, will be prepared by embalmers like Hetty. But with lavish care gold. Amulets, fine linen, a sarcophagus of alabaster inlaid with turquoise. The air in the embalming workshop, heavy with resin and myrrh, will be perfumed with extra oils for his sake, the process a ritual of reverence. Nefertari, too, plans for eternity, her jewelry destined for her tomb, her prayers to Osiris a daily offering for her soul's passage. Yet the elite's fascination with death was not without its shadows. The process of mummification, though sacred, was gritty, its realities softened by wealth but not erased. The embalmer's workshop, where Hetty toiled, was a place of natron and decay, its air sharp with salt and cedar oil. Ahotep might never see this space, but his coins funded it. His priests oversaw it. The elite relied on men like Hetty, their skill ensuring the body's preservation, their labor a quiet necessity beneath the temple's grandeur. The mummies of the elite, adorned with gold, were a stark contrast to the simple wrappings of villagers. Yet both shared the same hope in eternal life guided by the gods. Contrast this with the lower classes, where Tehotep dined on honeyed cakes. Amun ate flatbread by the Nile, where Nefertari bathed in a private pool. Meret washed in the river, her water cloudy with silt. The elite's wealth bought them private spaces, their hygiene aided by slaves. And oils, but disease was a shared threat, the Nile's water carrying fevers to palace and village alike. The embalmer's work bridged these worlds, their hands touching noble and commoner, their rituals a common thread in Egypt's faith. A noble might visit a temple to pray for eternity, while a villager offered a clay scarab at a roadside shrine, their beliefs converging in the shadow of death. The elite's days were not without struggle. Political rivalries could lead to exile or disgrace, their tombs left unfinished, their names erased. Disease, though softened by physicians, claimed their children too, the air heavy with the scent of burning herbs to ward off illness. Tehotep's prayers, lavish with gold, were as fervent as Amun's, their fears universal. The mummification process, a promise of eternity, was a shared obsession. Its rituals a link between the palace and the workshop, the noble and the embalmer. Community. Among the elite was formal, their banquets a stage for power. Yet, there were moments of connection. I shared him in the temple, a quiet word between priests. These echoed the village's festivals, where laughter and music bound the people. The embalmers, though marginal, were part of this web, their work a necessity that tied the elite to the divine, their hands shaping the eternal as we linger in this world of alabaster and incense. We see the elite not as distant figures, but as part of Egypt's rhythm, their lives of luxury and faith linked to the mummies that defined their legacy. Their story, like Hetty's, is one of devotion, its textures rich with the scent of lotus and the weight of eternity. Now, As we step away from their gleaming palaces, we turn to the gritty realities of hygiene, where the elite and the embalmers faced the same unseen challenges. The unseen grime of Egyptian elite and embalmer life. Imagine yourself standing in the cool shade of a noble's palace in Thebes. The air soft with the scent of lotus flowers and the faint trickle of a fountain echoing off polished alabaster walls. The sun outside blazes, its heat pressing against the city, but within these walls, the world feels serene, the light filtered through linen curtains, casting gentle shadows. This is the domain of Egypt's elite, where luxury and ritual create an illusion of purity. Yet beneath this polished surface lies a grittier reality, one shared by the embalmers like Hetty, whose workshops we visited earlier. Hygiene in ancient Egypt was a constant negotiation, shaped by the Nile's gifts and the desert's demands, its challenges touching both the gilded halls and the shadowed spaces of the dead. Let us wander gently through this unseen world, not to dwell on its unpleasantness, but to feel the textures of their daily struggle, the damp linen, the shared water, the faint hope of cleanliness that bound the elite and the embalmers in a land of eternal aspirations. Hygiene in ancient Egypt was a blend of ritual and necessity, its practices as much about appearance as survival. For the elite, cleanliness was a mark of status, a way to reflect their divine connection. Picture Tehotep, the high priest we met earlier, stepping from a private bathing chamber. Its floor tiled with blue faience, its air warm with steam. Servants pour Nile water from silver ewers, its surface shimmering but faintly cloudy from silt. They anoint his skin with oils scented with myrrh and lotus, their fragrance masking the river's earthy temps. A bronze basin catches the water, its edges cool to the touch, as servants use linen cloths to cleanse his body. Their movements deliberate, their hands steady. The air carries the sweetness of oils, but also a faint metallic note from the copper pipes that feed the palace, a reminder of the unseen impurities even wealth could not erase. Nefertari, his wife, follows a similar ritual. Her servants comb her hair with ivory tools, pinning it with gold and turquoise pins, their surfaces glinting in the lamplight. They apply cosmetics malachite for her eyes, ochre for her cheeks, galena for her lips, their powders mixed with animal fat, their scent heavy but fleeting. These mixtures, though luxurious, carried hidden risks, their lead or mineral content accumulating in the body, causing ailments over time. Her breath is freshened with a paste of natron and mint, but the rich meals of goose, figs, and honeyed wine leave a lingering taste. The elite bathed daily, their private pools a symbol of status, but the water, reused by family and slaves, grew murky, its surface slick with oils and dust. Contrast this with the embalmer's world, where hygiene was a battle fought with scarce resources. Picture Hetty in his workshop, its mud brick walls damp from the Nile's humidity, the air thick with the scent of natron and resin. A clay jug of water, fetched from a communal well, sits on a shelf, its contents cloudy with sediment. Hetty washes his hands before each ritual, the water poured sparingly, the rag he uses worn and stained from countless uses. His kilt, once white, is yellowed from sweat and natron dust, its fibers fraying at the edges. The air carries the sharp bite of salt and the sweetness of myrrh, but also the faint musk of the bodies he prepares, a reminder of the workshop's relentless purpose. His tools, bronze knives, bone scrapers are wiped clean with linen scraps. But the dampness lingers, the table's surface never fully dry. The Nile, Egypt's lifeblood, was also its challenge. Its water, used for drinking, washing, and rituals, was both a blessing and a risk. Villagers like Amen, whom we met earlier, bathed in the river, its current cool but clouded with silt and waste. The elite's private pools offered some protection, But even their water came from the same source, carried through channels or pipes that could harbor algae or parasites. Disease was a constant threat, spreading through shared water or the flies that swarmed markets and workshops. Fevers, skin irritations, and eye infections were common, their symptoms soothed with honey or herbs, but rarely cured. The air in Hetty's workshop, heavy with natron and incense, was burned to ward off illness. But the close quarters made sickness inevitable. Dental care was rudimentary for all. The elite used natron pastes, their abrasive texture scraping teeth clean, but the diet of bread and beer, gritty with sand from milling stones, wore enamel away. Hetty, like Aemon, chewed mint or fennel seeds, their sharp flavor a brief relief. But decay was common, the breath heavy with garlic or fish. Elites. Cosmetics, though elegant, were a double-edged sword. Coal protected eyes from the sun but could inflame them. Its lead content, a silent poison. Embalmers faced unique risks. The bodies they handled, though cleansed, could carry disease, and the natron dust irritated skin and lungs. Hetty might rub his hands with aloe, its coolness a small comfort. But the stains of resin and salt were a constant mark of his trade. Public sanitation was limited, even for the elite. Latrines, often simple pits or stone benches, were found in palaces but shared among households in villages. The air in these spaces was heavy with the odor of waste, softened only by herbs or natron sprinkled to mask it. Hetty's workshop had no such luxury. Waste was carried to a nearby ditch, the air thick with flies. The elite servants disposed of their waste discreetly. But the Nile, where all water returned, was a shared burden, its currents carrying the city's refuse. The scent of the river, earthy and vital, was a constant, its waters a paradox of life and contamination. The embalmer's work itself was a study in hygiene's limits. Picture Hetty preparing a body, his hands moving with care to cleanse it with cedar oil, its scent sharp but fleeting. Natron spread in thick layers, dried. The flesh, its crystals glinting like sand in the lamplight. The process, though sacred, was messy. Fluids drained, organs removed. The air heavy with the tang of decay before the resins took hold. Linen wrappings, soaked in myrrh, sealed the body, their texture sticky against his fingers. The workshops. Floor-packed earth was swept daily, but the dust of natron and resin clung to everything, a gritty reminder of the trade. Hetty burned incense to purify the air, its smoke curling through the room, a ritual as much for hygiene as for the gods. The elite, though cushioned by wealth, faced similar challenges. Tehotep's palace, with its pools and oils, was not immune to the Nile's silt or the flies that followed feasts. Nefertari's cosmetics, applied with care, could cause rashes or worse, their beauty a fragile mask. Disease, like death, was a great equalizer, its shadow falling on palace and workshop alike. A fever could claim a noble's child as easily as a villager's, the air thick with burning herbs in both. Hetty's prayers to Anubis, Tehotep's to Amun, their faith was a shared shield. Their rituals a hope against the unseen. Community offered solace in both worlds. In the workshop, Hetty shared bread with his apprentices, their laughter a brief respite, the air warm with camaraderie. In the palace, Nefertari hosted gatherings of noblewomen, their conversation weaving through family and faith, their hands fanned by slaves. These moments, though different in scale, were echoes of the same need for connection, a need that persisted despite the grime of their world. The embalmers, though stigmatized, were part of this web, their work a necessity that bound them to the elite, their hands shaping the eternal as we linger in this world of damp linen and scented oils. We see not just the struggle for cleanliness, but the resilience it fostered. The elite's polished facades, the embalmer's quiet endurance, these were the textures of Egyptian life as vital as its pyramids or gods. Now, As we step away from these unseen realities, we turn to the events that tested Egypt's spirit, their shadows lingering in the land of the Nile. Horrible events, the tragedies and upheavals of Egyptian embalmers and their world. Imagine yourself standing on the edge of a village near the Nile. The air warm and heavy with the scent of river mud and blooming papyrus. The sky above a deep amber as dusk settles over the land. The village is quiet, its mud brick homes casting long shadows, their walls glowing faintly in the fading light. The Nile's gentle ripple is a constant, its waters reflecting the last glimmers of the sun. Yet, beneath this tranquil surface, ancient Egypt was a land of fragility, where calamity could strike without warning, reshaping lives in an instant. The embalmers, like Hetty, whom we met earlier, and the communities they served, faced floods, plagues, and political turmoil, their lives tested by events that left scars on the land's heart. Let us walk gently through these moments, not to dwell on their darkness, but to understand the resilience of those who endured them. Their story is a soft thread in the tapestry of Egypt's eternal rhythm. Floods were a constant threat in Egypt. The Nile's annual inundation, both a blessing and a potential curse. Picture a summer when the river rises too high, its waters swelling beyond the fields, their muddy torrent sweeping through villages. The air grows thick with the scent of silt and decay, the sound of rushing water drowning out the usual hum of life. Mud brick homes, like Amon's, crumble under the flood's weight, their walls dissolving into sludge, their straw roofs collapsing. The scent of wet earth and rotting grain fills the air, a reminder of the crops lost to the deluge. For embalmers, like Hetty, a flood could destroy their workshops. The natron and resin jars swept away, the linen wrappings soaked and useless. The air in his workshop, once sharp with salt, now carries the damp musk of ruin. His tools scattered in the mud. Khety might stand amidst the wreckage, his kilt heavy with water. His hands salvaging what he can: a bronze knife, a clay statuette. Of Anubis, its base cracked but intact. The loss is not just material. A flooded workshop halts his work, leaving families waiting for their loved ones' mummification, their rituals delayed. Villagers like Amon, whose fields are drowned, face hunger, their grain stores ruined, their prayers to Hapi, the god of the Nile, tinged with desperation. The elite, like Tehotep, are cushioned by wealth, their palaces on higher ground spared the worst. But even they feel the ripple of a failed harvest, their taxes unmet, their feasts leaner. The air across the land carries the scent of damp and loss. The Nile's gift turned to grief. Plagues were another shadow, their spread swift and merciless. Imagine a season when fever sweeps through the village, its symptoms subtle at first. Flush of heat, a dry cough, a heaviness in the limbs. The air grows heavy with burning herbs, their smoke a faint hope against illness. Hetty, working with bodies, is especially vulnerable, the air in his workshop thick with natron but unable to ward off disease. He might burn myrrh, its sweetness curling through the room, or wear a faience amulet, its scarab shape a plea for protection. Yet, the fever claims his apprentices, their cots empty, their tools untouched. The scent of resin and salt, once comforting, now mingles with the fear of contagion. The workshop's rhythm stilled. Villagers like Ammon and Meret face the same threat. Their home a fragile barrier against illness. A child's fever, soothed with honey and herbs, might linger, the air thick with the scent of chamomile and worry. The elite, in their palaces, are not immune. Tehotep might consult a physician, his remedies costly blends of garlic and wine. But these are often more ritual than cure. The Nile's water, shared by all, carries the seeds of sickness, its currents a silent vector. The air in the temple, where Tehotep prays, is heavy with incense, but the god's favor is uncertain. Their altars piled with offerings of bread and lotus. Disease, like the Nile, was a great equalizer, its shadow falling on village and palace alike. Political turmoil, too, cast a long shadow over the embalmer's world. Egypt's stability rested on the pharaoh, a living god whose rule was divine. But a weak ruler or a contested succession could spark unrest. Picture a year when whispers of rebellion spread, priests and nobles vying for power in Memphis. The air in the temple grows tense, Tehotep's prayers interrupted by rumors of betrayal. In the village, Amun hears of soldiers marching, their sandals kicking up dust, their presence a threat to the harvest. Hetty's workshop, dependent on the elite's commissions, falters when nobles hoard their gold, their tombs left unfinished. The air carries the scent of uncertainty, the clink of coins replaced by the murmur of fear. The embalmers faced unique risks in such times. Their work, tied to the afterlife, was sacred, but their status made them vulnerable. A new pharaoh might purge the priests, their allies among the embalmers dismissed or worse. Hetty might hide his tools, his bronze knife wrapped in linen, his prayers to Anubis whispered in secret. The air in his workshop, once alive with ritual, grows still, the scent of resin fading as work slows. Villagers, too, suffer, their taxes raised to fund wars, their fields trampled by armies. The elite, though protected by wealth, feel the strain. Their banquets quieter, their offerings to the gods more fervent. These events, floods, plagues, unrest, were not mere disruptions, but defining forces in the embalmers' lives. They tested the endurance of Hetty, Amun, and Tehotep, their days a cycle of survival punctuated by crisis. Yet, within this, there was resilience. Picture Hetty rebuilding his workshop, his hands stacking mud bricks, his apprentices sharing a loaf of bread amidst the drying natron. Amun and Meret, after a flood, plant anew, their hoes breaking the soil, their laughter a quiet defiance. Tehotep, in the temple, offers gold to Amun, his voice steady despite the chaos. The air, though heavy with loss, carries the scent of hope, lotus, myrrh, the Nile's cool breath. The embalmer's work, though shadowed by calamity, was a link to eternity. Hetty's hands, stained with resin, shaped mummies that endured, their wrappings a testament to his skill. The elite's gold, the villagers' prayers. The embalmer's rituals, these were threads in Egypt's fabric, their strength tested but unbroken. Community was their anchor. Hetty shares wine with his apprentices, their stories a balm. Amun joins the village festival, his voice rising in song. Tehotep hosts priests, their chants a bond. These moments, though fleeting, were Egypt's heartbeat, linking the powerful and the humble in their shared struggle as we linger in this world of flood and fever. We see not just the tragedies, but the strength of those who face them. The embalmers, though marginal, were vital. Their work a bridge between life and eternity, their lives as enduring as the mummies they crafted. Now, as we step away from these turbulent events, we turn to the customs and practices that defined their craft, their textures, a quiet echo of Egypt's sacred heart. Dirty, nasty. Sensual, the customs and practices of Egyptian mummification. Asterisk, imagine yourself standing at the threshold of an embalmer's workshop in ancient Memphis. The air heavy with the scent of natron, myrrh, and the faint tang of the Nile drifting through a narrow window. The sun is low, casting a warm golden glow across the mud brick walls, their surfaces stained with resin and smoke. Inside, the soft clink of bronze tools and the rustle of linen strips create a quiet rhythm, a sacred dance of preservation. This is the world of mummification, where embalmers like Hetty, whom we met earlier, transformed the mortal into the eternal, their craft a blend of reverence, skill, and the gritty realities of death. The customs of their work, though strange to us, were as ordinary to them as the Nile's flow, their practices woven into Egypt's spiritual heart. Let us wander gently through this shadowed space, not to dwell on its intensity, but to feel the textures of their rituals, the dry natron, the sticky resin, the whispered prayers that shaped the mummies we marvel at today. Mummification was a sacred art, its every step guided by tradition and devotion to the gods. Picture Hetty in his workshop, his linen kilt dusted with natron, his hands steady as he prepares a body for its eternal journey. The workshop is dimly lit, oil lamps casting flickering shadows on walls painted with images of Anubis, the jackal-headed god, his eyes gleaming with inlaid faience. The air is thick, carrying the sharp bite of natron, the sweetness of myrrh, and the faint musk of cedar oil used to cleanse and anoint. A wooden table, scarred from years of use, holds the body covered with a linen sheet to honor its dignity. The scent of resin lingers. It's dark, viscous texture coating Hetty's fingers as he works, each movement a prayer to Osiris, the god of the afterlife. The process begins with cleansing, a ritual as much for the soul as the body. Hetty pours Nile water from a clay jug, its surface cool but cloudy with silt, over the body, washing away the traces of life. The air carries the earthy temps of the river, mingled with the faint scent of lotus flowers, offered to Anubis in a small clay bowl. The body is then packed with natron, a salt-like crystal that dries the flesh. Its texture gritty against Hetty's hands, its weight heavy in the air. The natron, spread in thick layers, draws moisture from the body, leaving it leathery and preserved, the process taking weeks. The scent of salt dominates, sharp and biting, a reminder of the desert that surrounds the Nile's green ribbon. The removal of organs, a delicate task, is handled with care. Picture Hetty using a bronze hook, its tip curved and polished, to perform this step, his movements precise to avoid disturbing the soul. The air grows heavy with cedar oil poured to cleanse the body's interior, its sharp scent cutting through the workshop's warmth. Organs are placed in canopic jars, their alabaster lids carved with the sons of Horus for the liver, Hapi for the lungs, Dumutef for the stomach, Atibasunuf for the intestines. These jars, found in tombs across Egypt, are artifacts of devotion, their surfaces smooth, their inscriptions inked in black, praying for the soul's protection. The air around them carries the faint temps of resin, a seal against decay. The wrapping of the body, the final act, is a labor of patience. Hetty winds linen strips, some dyed red or blue for wealthier clients, around the body, his hands sticky. With resin, the linen, woven by women like Maret in the village, is rough at first but softens with handling, its texture a contrast to the natron's grit. Amulet scarabs, eyes of Horus, Anxar tucked between layers, their cool surfaces, a promise of rebirth and protection. The air is thick with myrrh, burned to honor the gods, its sweetness blending with the resin's weight. Each wrap is a ritual, the linen forming a cocoon, the body transformed into a mummy, its form enduring for eternity. The scent of incense curls through the workshop, a soft prayer in the flickering lamplight. These customs, though meticulous, were not without their messier realities. The workshop's floor, packed earth, is swept daily but never clean, the dust of natron and resin settling into cracks. The air, though perfumed, carries the faint musk of decay in the early stages before the natron's work is done. Hetty's hands, stained black with resin, are washed with Nile water, but the stickiness lingers, a mark of his trade. The tool's bronze knives, bone scrapers, are wiped with linen scraps, their edges dulled by use, their surfaces never fully free of residue. The air grows damp in the heat, the humidity a challenge to the drying process. And Hetty burns herbs rue, chamomile to keep insects at bay, their smoke a faint shield. The cultural significance of mummification was profound. Its practices are a reflection of Egypt's obsession with eternity. The Book of the Dead, a papyrus scroll placed in the tomb, guided the soul through the underworld, its spells inked with care, its words a map for trials. The scarab, a symbol of rebirth, mirrored the sun's daily rise, its green faience glinting. In the lamplight, the Eye of Horus, carved in lapis or carnelian, warded off evil, its shape a reminder of the god's restoration. These symbols, found in tombs from Giza to Luxor, were a language of faith, their meanings woven into the lives of villagers, embalmers, and elite alike. The elite, like Tehotep, invested heavily in these customs. Their mummies adorned with gold masks, their wrappings fine linen, their tombs painted with spells. Yet, even villagers like Amen sought mummification, their simpler wrappings a testament to the same belief in eternity. The embalmer's workshop was a crossroads where noble and commoner met. Their bodies prepared with the same care, their souls entrusted to the same gods. The air in Hetty's workshop, heavy with resin and prayer, was a space where these worlds converged, the scent of myrrh, a shared thread. The empire's diversity enriched these practices. Workers from Nubia might add a lion-shaped amulet, a nod to their gods, while a Levantan priest whispered hymns to Baal alongside Osiris. The air carried this blend, a mosaic of sense myrrh, cedar, foreign spices reflecting Egypt's place in a wider world. A faience bead, found in a Saqqara tomb, bears a Hittite design, its presence a mystery that hints at trade or travel. Its blue glaze, a spark of connection across cultures. The embalmer's customs were not without their sensual elements, though, tempered by reverence. The oils and resins, their textures smooth and warm, were applied with care, the active form of intimacy with the divine. The linen, wound tightly, was a caress of sorts, its layers of final embrace for the dead. The air, thick with perfume, carried a sacred weight, the rituals a blend of the earthly and the eternal. Hetty's hands, moving with precision, were part of this dance, his craft a balance of grit and grace. As we linger in this world of natron and linen, we see not just the customs, but the people who shape them. Hetty's steady hands, the priest's chants, the villagers' prayers. Their practices, preserved in the mummies, were as vital as the Nile's flood, their rituals a testament to Egypt's faith in eternity. Now, as we step away from this scented workshop, we turn to the lives of those who sustained the land, the artisans and laborers whose work echoed the embalmer's craft. Daily life immersion, the lives of Egypt's artisans and laborers. Asterisk, picture yourself standing in the heart of a bustling village along the Nile, the air warm with the scent of sun-baked mud brick, fresh bread, and the faint sweetness of blooming lotus flowers. The sun climbs high, its golden light spilling across the river, turning its waters into a shimmering ribbon that weaves through fields of barley and flax. Around you, the village pulses with quiet activity, women spinning linen, thread, men hauling stone from a nearby quarry, children chasing each other with palm fronds. This is the world of Egypt's artisans and laborers, the potters, weavers, and stonecutters who built the land's monuments and sustained its daily life. Their days were filled with toil, their hands shaped by craft, their lives a steady rhythm of effort and community. Let us wander gently through their world, not to rush or excite, but to feel the textures of their routines, the smooth clay, the rough stone, the shared laughter that wove them into Egypt's eternal tapestry. The village is a cluster of mud brick homes, their walls smooth and cool to the touch, their roofs thatched with palm fronds that rustle in the breeze. Imagine stepping into a potter's workshop, its single room lit by a narrow window, the air heavy with the earthy scent of wet clay and the faint smoke of a small fire. A man, let us call him Sanan, kneels at a low wheel, his hands shaping a clay jar, its surface glistening as it spins. The floor is packed earth, scattered with straw to catch the dust, and shelves hold rows of finished pots. Their forms simple but precise, ready for grain, wine, or oil. The air carries the temps of clay, mingled with the warmth of the sun outside. A reminder of the land that sustains this craft. Senon's day begins at dawn, his linen kilt tied tightly, his feet bare against the cool earth. He rises with the village, the sound of the Nile's gentle lap a constant backdrop. His hands, calloused from years at the wheel, knead clay dug from the riverbank, its texture soft but gritty with silt. The work is steady, repetitive, the wheels. Rhythm a quiet meditation as he shapes jars, bowls, and lamps. The air grows warm as the sun climbs. The scent of clay blending with sweat and the faint sweetness of dates eaten during a brief pause. His wife, Anuket, weaves linen nearby, her loom clicking softly, its threads dyed with indigo or ochre. Their colors a small luxury in their modest life. Food is simple, a reflection of the Nile's gifts. At midday, Sanan and Anuket share a meal. Under a sycamore tree, its shade a respite from the heat. Flatbread, baked on a clay oven, is crisp and warm. Paired with a handful of onions and a cup of barley beer, its taste sour but refreshing. The air carries the scent of the river, mingled with the earthiness of grain and the faint tang of fish drying in the sun. Meals are a moment of connection, their children joining them. Their laughter bright as they nibble on dates, their sticky fingers leaving marks on the straw mat. These moments, though brief, are the heart of their day. A pause in the rhythm of labor. Clothing reflects their status practical, suited to the heat. Sinan wears a white linen kilt, its edges frayed from use, his chest bare to the sun. Tace. Dress is a long sheath of linen, its fabric dyed a muted blue when they can afford it, her hair tied with a linen band. Sandals of woven reeds protect their feet, though Sinan often works barefoot, the earth cooled beneath him. Jewelry, even among artisans, is Kamina Fayon's bead necklace, a copper ring, a scarab amulet for luck. These adornments, glinting in the sunlight, are a quiet assertion of pride. Their colors a spark in the village's earthy palette. The artisan's work was vital to Egypt's grandeur. Picture a stonecutter, Jehudi, in a quarry near Thebes, his chisel striking granite, its surface warm under the sun. The air is thick with dust, the sound of metal on stone a steady rhythm. The scent of sweat and rock mingling with the Nile's cool breath. His hands, scarred from years of labor, shape blocks for temples or tombs, each strike a step toward eternity. The air carries the faint clink of tools, the murmur of workers sharing water from a clay jug, their voices low but warm. Jehudis. Work like Senon's is a craft of endurance, its products destined for the pharaoh's monuments or the embalmers' workshops. The embalmers, like Hedi, were part of this world, their craft intersecting with the artisans. The linen woven by Anuket might end in Hedi's hands, wound around a mummy, its texture softened by resin. The jars shaped by Senon might hold natron or oils, their surfaces etched with prayers to Anubis. The air in the village, though different, from the workshop's resin-heavy scent carries a shared rhythm, the clink of tools, the rustle of flax, the whisper of prayers. Artisans like Senon and Jehuti, though not directly tied to mummification, were bound to it through their work. Their products a thread in the tapestry of Egypt's afterlife. Life was not without hardship. The Nile's flood could fail, leaving fields dry and kilns empty, the air heavy with the scent of dust instead of grain. Taxes, paid in goods or labor, were a burden, the pharaoh's overseers demanding jars or linen, their presence a shadow over the village. Disease was a constant. Threat, the Nile's water carrying fevers, the air thick with flies. Sinan might burn rue to ward off illness, its smoke curling through his workshop. But a fever could claim a child, the air heavy with chamomile and grief. The embalmers' work, though sacred, was a reminder of death's nearness, their workshops. A place villagers passed with respect and unease. Community was the artisan's strength. Picture a festival by the Nile, the air alive with drums and the scent of roasted fish offered to Osiris. Senon and Anuket joined the crowd, their hands clapping. To the rhythm, their children weaving through with lotus flowers. The temple, its mud brick walls painted with gods, is the heart of these gatherings. Its priests burning incense, its altars laden with bread. Artisans share their skills. Jehuti carving a small scarab for a neighbor. Sinan gifting a lamp to a friend. The air carries laughter, the scent of myrrh, the warmth of connection, a balm against the toil of their days. The embalmers, though set apart, were part of this web. Hetty might join the festival, his presence welcomed but quiet, his hands still scented with resin. His work, like the artisans, was a craft of endurance, its products mummies, jars, linona linked to eternity. The village's rhythm, from the potter's wheel to the quarry's chisel, echoed the embalmers' rituals. Their labor a shared pulse in Egypt's heart. The air, thick with the Nile's breath, carried their stories, their struggles, their small joys as we linger in this world of clay and stone. We see not just the artisans, but the people, their calloused hands, their woven linen, their laughter. By the river, their lives, like Hetty's, were part of Egypt's story. Their work a quiet echo of the mummies' eternal journey. Now, as we step away from their bustling village, we turn to a single figure, a man whose life shaped the dead. His story a bridge between the living and the afterlife. The life of a priest of Anubis, overseer of embalmers. Asterisk, imagine yourself standing at the entrance of a grand temple in Memphis. Its towering pylons carved with images of Anubis, the jackal-headed god, their surfaces glowing faintly in the dawns. Soft light. The air is cool, carrying the scent of burning myrrh and the faint ripple of the Nile nearby. Inside, the temple's halls are dim, lit by flickering oil lamps. Their flames casting shadows on walls painted with scenes of the afterlife souls weighed against a feather. Osiris enthroned, the dead crossing to eternity. This is the domain of Naboman, a priest of Anubis whose life is dedicated to overseeing the sacred art of mummification, guiding embalmers like Hetty, whom we met earlier in their work. His days are a blend of ritual, authority, and quiet reverence. His hands clean, but his role steeped in the realities of death. Let us step gently into his world, not to startle or dwell on its weight, but to understand the man who bridged the divine and the mortal. His story a soft thread in the tapestry of Egypt's eternal rhythm. Nebaman was born into a family of priests, destiny shaped from childhood in the shadow of the temple. As a boy, he learned hymns to Anubis, his voice echoing in the cool stone halls. The air scented with incense and lotus flowers. His head was shaved, a mark of purity, and his hands trained to offer sacrifices. Bread, wine, a goose's feather on the temple's altars. At 20, he was initiated as a priest, his linen robe fine and white, its hem embroidered with blue thread, his chest adorned with a pectoral of faience and gold. Shaped like the eye of Horus, the air carried the weight of his vows, the scent of myrrh a constant reminder of his duty to guide the dead to the afterlife. Naboman's home is a modest house near the temple, its mud brick walls painted with lotus motifs, its courtyard shaded by a single palm tree. The air inside is cool, the floor tiled with clay. A small altar to Anubis holding a clay statuette, its surface worn from daily offerings. His wife T manages the household, her dress of fine linen dyed red, her hair adorned with turquoise beads. Their meals are simple but richer than a villager's roasted fish, figs, honeyed bread eaten on a low wooden table. The air warm with the scent of garlic and wine. Slaves fan the couple, their ostrich feathers rustling softly. The air a blend of comfort and duty. His day begins before dawn. His feet bare against the temple's stone floor, the air cool and heavy with incense. He leads prayers in the sanctuary, his voice chanting hymns to Anubis, the words ancient and rhythmic, their cadence a lullaby to the gods. The air carries the sweetness of myrrh, burned in bronze censers, their smoke curling toward the ceiling. Neboman's hands, anointed with cedar oil, place lotus flowers on the altar, their petals soft against his fingers. The temple hums with activity, lower priests sweeping the floors, scribes inking papyrus with spells, acolytes carrying jars of oil. The air is alive with the clink of tools, the murmur of prayers, the scent of sanctity. Neboman's role as overseer of embalmers is central to his life. Picture him visiting Hetty's workshop, the air thick with natron and resin, the scent sharp but sacred. He inspects the mummies, his eyes tracing the linen wrappings, ensuring each amulet a scarab and ankh is placed correctly, each spell inked with precision. The air carries the faint temps of cedar oil used to anoint the body and the sweetness of myrrh burned to honor Anubis. Hetty bows slightly, his hands stained with resin, his deference a mark of Neboman's authority. The priest's voice is calm, his instructions clear, guiding the embalmers through rituals that ensure the soul's passage. The air, though heavy with the workshop's realities, softened by the scent of incense, a reminder of the divine. The work is not without its challenges. The embalmers, though skilled, are stigmatized, their touch of death setting them apart. Neboman navigates this divide, his role a bridge between the temple's purity and the workshop's grit. The air in the workshop, thick with natron dust, irritates his throat, but he stands firm, his robe a stark contrast to the embalmer's stained kilts. He ensures the material's natron, linen, oils are supplied, his authority securing the temple's resources. The air carries the weight of his responsibility. The scent of resin a constant reminder of the dead who rely on his oversight. The temple's wealth, drawn from offerings and taxes, funds the mummification process. Picture Neboman in the storeroom, its shelves lined with jars of myrrh, bundles of linen, and baskets of natron, their surfaces dusted with salt. The air is cool, the scent of cedar and frankincense lingering, a testament to the temple's power. Neboman's role is political, as well as spiritual. He negotiates with nobles like Tehotep, ensuring their tombs are prepared, their mummies adorned with gold. The air in these meetings, held in the temple's shaded halls, is heavy with incense and ambition, the clink of gold a quiet undercurrent. The priest's life is not without risk. A failed mummification, a body poorly preserved, could anger a noble family, threatening Neboman's status. Disease, a constant shadow, could spread from the workshop, the air thick with the scent of burning herbs to ward it off. Political upheaval, a new pharaoh, a rival priest could strip him of his role, the air tense with whispers of betrayal. Neboman prays to Anubis, his hands offering wine, the liquid splashing softly on the altar, its scent mingling with myrrh. The air carries his faith, a shield against uncertainty. The embalmer's world, though gritty, is tied to Neboman's Hetty's workshop. With its natron and resin, is an extension of the temple. Its rituals, a mirror of Neboman's prayers. The air in both spaces, though different one sacred, one earthy carries the same hope, eternity for the dead. Villagers like Ammon, whose simpler mummies Neboman oversees, share this faith. Their clay scarabs, a humbler echo of the temples. Gold. The elite, like Tehotep, rely on Neboman's oversight, their tombs a testament to his authority. The air, thick with the Nile's breath, binds these worlds, its scent a reminder of their shared devotion. Community is Neboman's solace. He dines with other priests, their table laden with bread and fish, the air warm with laughter and hymns. Tea hosts noble women, their conversation weaving through faith and family, the air scented with lotus and wine. These moments, though formal, echo the village's festivals, where Amun and Meret dance by the Nile, their voices rising to Osiris. The embalmers, though marginal, are part of this web, Hetty sharing bread with his apprentices, the air heavy with resin but light with camaraderie as we linger in this world of incense and stone. We see Neboman not as a distant figure, but as a man, his hands guiding the embalmers, his prayers shaping the afterlife. His life, like Hetty's, is part of Egypt's rhythm, his role a bridge between the living and the eternal. Now, as we step away from his temple's halls, we turn to the artifacts that defined his work, their secrets buried in the sand. The artifacts and symbols of Egypt's mummification rituals. Asterisk, imagine yourself standing in the shadowed depths of a tomb in the Valley of the Nobles, the air cool and heavy with the scent of ancient stone and the faint, lingering trace of myrrh. The walls carved with hieroglyphs of Anubis and Osiris glow faintly under the flicker of a modern archaeologist's torch, their colors reds, blues, and golds, softened by centuries of silence. Before you lies a mummy, its linen wrappings brittle but intact, adorned with amulets that glint in the dim light. This is the world of Egypt's mummification rituals, preserved in artifacts that whisper of the embalmer's craft and the culture's obsession with eternity. These object scarabs, canopic jars, papyrus scrolls carry the stories of men like Hetty and priests like Neboman. Their work a bridge between the living and the afterlife. Let us wander gently through this buried world, not to startle or dwell on its strangeness, but to uncover the secrets etched in faience. Linen and gold, their textures a soft echo of Egypt's sacred heart. The artifacts of mummification uncovered in tombs from Saqqara to Thebes are a testament to the embalmer's skill and the culture's reverence for the dead. Picture a wooden table in Hetty's workshop, its surface scarred from years of use, scattered with tools that have survived the ages. A bronze knife, its blade worn but sharp, lies beside a reed hook, its curved tip polished from delicate work. A clay jar, sealed with wax, holds natron crystals, their salt-like texture glinting in the lamplight, their scent sharp and dry. Another pot contains myrrh, its dark, viscous contents releasing a sweet, heavy fragrance when opened. These tools, found in archaeological digs near Memphis, are humble yet vital, their surfaces worn by hands that shaped eternity. Their presence a whisper of the rituals performed in shadowed workshops. Amulets are the heart of the mummy's protection, each a symbol of faith. Imagine a scarab of green faience, its surface carved with a prayer to Ra, tucked within the mummy's wrappings, its cool weight a promise of rebirth. An eye of Horus, crafted from lapis lazuli, glints faintly, believed to guard against evil spirits. A small ankh, the cross of life, carved in carnelian, rests near the heart, its shape a hope for eternal existence. These amulets, found in countless tombs, were placed with care, their positions guided by the Book of the Dead, a papyrus scroll tucked beside the body, its spells inked in red and black. The air in the tomb, though still, seems to carry the echo of these prayers, their words a map for the soul's journey through the underworld. Canopic jars, their alabaster surfaces smooth and cool, are among the most striking artifacts. Picture 4 jars in a tomb, their lids carved with the sons of Horus Imzati, Hapi, Duamutef, Kebesanufich, guarding an organ, liver, lungs, stomach, intestines. The jar's inscriptions, etched in hieroglyphs, pray for protection. Their surfaces polished to a soft sheen. The air around them carries the faint scent of resin used to seal the organs, a reminder of the embalmer's meticulous work. These jars, found in tombs across Egypt, are a testament to the belief that the body, even in pieces, must be preserved for eternity. Their craftsmanship, a blend of art and devotion. The Book of the Dead, a papyrus scroll, is a cultural cornerstone. It spells a guide for the soul. Imagine unrolling one in a tomb, its surface brittle but legible, its text a labyrinth of hymns and incantations. The air carries the faint mustiness of papyrus, mingled with the scent of the tomb's stone walls. Scenes painted on the scrollosiris. Judging souls, the heart weighed against a feather. Anubis guiding the dead are vivid, their colors softened but enduring. These scrolls, found in burials from nobles to villagers, were a map for the afterlife, their words a comfort to those like Tehotep, whose wealth ensured a detailed copy, or Amen, whose simpler scrolls still carried hope. The symbols of mummification were woven into Egypt's daily life. The scarab, a beetle rolling its dung, mirrored the sun's daily rise, its image carved on amulets and seals. The Eye of Horus, a ward against harm, adorned jewelry worn by villagers like Meret, its shape. A quiet prayer. The Ankh, a symbol of life, was etched on pottery and woven into linen. Its presence, a reminder of eternity. The air in homes, workshops, and temples carried these symbols. Their meaning shared by all Hedi, placing a scarab, Neb-Omen chanting its prayer, Amen offering a clay version at a shrine. The scent of myrrh, burned in rituals, was a thread. Connecting these worlds, its sweetness a constant in Egypt's rhythm. Archaeological finds reveal the diversity of these artifacts. A tomb in Luxor yields a faience bead with a Nubian lion, its presence a mystery trade, tribute, or a worker's heritage. The air in the tomb, though stale, seems to carry the echo of distant lands, the scent of foreign spices blending with myrrh. A workshop near Saqqara uncovers a broken clay lamp, its spout shaped like a lotus, its surface stained with resin, a tool of both light and ritual. The air around these finds, stirred by modern hands, carries the dust of centuries, each artifact a story of the hands that shaped it. The mummification process itself was a mystery, its details guarded by priests like Neb-Omen. The air in Hedi's workshop, thick with natron and cedar oil, was a space of secrets, its rituals known only to the initiated. The linen wrappings, sometimes hundreds of yards, were a labor of patience, their texture sticky with resin, their layers a cocoon for the soul. The air grew heavy during the process, the scent of decay fading as natron worked, replaced by the sweetness of myrrh and frankincense. These practices, preserved in the artifacts, were a blend of grit and grace, the embalmer's hands shaping eternity amidst the workshop's realities. Mysteries linger in these objects. Why were some mummies wrapped with such excess, their linen layers numbering in the hundreds? Was it devotion, status, or a barrier against decay? Why do some amulets bear foreign symbols, their meanings lost to time? The answers are buried. But the artifacts endure a knife, a jar, a scroll leech, a whisper of the past. Picture Hedi placing a scarab over a mummy's heart, his fingers lingering, or Neb-Omen chanting as a tomb is sealed. The air thick with incense. Their work, preserved in these objects, was a testament to Egypt's faith, a bridge to the divine. The elite, like Tehotep, adorned their mummies with gold, their tombs filled with lavish artifacts, golden masks, inlaid coffins, jeweled amulets. Villagers like Amen, with simpler wrappings, shared the same hope, their clay scarabs as potent as gold. The air in the tomb, whether grand or humble, carried the same prayers, the scent of resin a universal thread. The embalmer's workshop, with its natron and tools, was a crossroads where these worlds met, the air heavy with the weight of eternity. As we linger in this world of faience and papyrus, We see not just the artifacts, but the people, the embalmers. Stained hands, the priest's chants, the villagers' prayers. Their symbols, preserved in stone and linen, were as vital as the Nile's flood. Their rituals, a heartbeat in Egypt's story. Now, as we step away from these buried treasures, we turn to the elite once more. Their hidden indulgences and public facades, a contrast to the embalmer's gritty work. The elite's hidden indulgences and public facades. Asterisk, imagine yourself standing in the grand courtyard of a noble's palace in Thebes. The air warm with the scent of blooming jasmine and a faint trickle of a fountain echoing off alabaster walls. The sun sets slowly, casting a golden glow across the polished stone floors, their surfaces inlaid with faience tiles that shimmer in blues and greens. This is the world of Egypt's elite high priests, nobles, and officials like Ptahhotep, whom we met earlier, whose lives were a carefully crafted performance of power, piety, and luxury. Yet beneath their polished facades lay hidden indulgences, private desires that connected them to the humbler world of embalmers, like Hetty, and villagers like Amen. Their lives, shaped by wealth and ritual, were bound to the mummification process. Their public devotion masking private vulnerabilities. Let us wander gently through their world, not to startle or judge, but to feel the rhythm of their days, the soft linen, the clink of gold, the whispered secrets that wove them into Egypt's eternal tapestry. The elite lived in a realm of deliberate splendor, their palaces a stark contrast to the village's mud-brick homes. Picture Ptahhotep's residence, its atrium open to the sky, a reflecting pool rippling with the evening's light, its edges lined with lotus flowers. The walls are painted with scenes of feasts and hunts nobles spearing hippos, ibises soaring. Over the Nile, their colors vivid in reds, blues, and golds. Columns carved with papyrus motifs support a cedar roof, its wood fragrant in the heat. The air carries the sweetness of myrrh, burned in bronze censers, and the faint clink of gold jewelry as servants move silently, their linen kilts pristine. This is a world of control, where every detail from the polished floors to the perfumed air reflects the elite's divine status. Ptahhotep's day begins with ritual, his role as a high priest of Amen, a public performance. His servants drape a fine linen robe over his shoulders, its fabric woven with gold thread, its hem brushing the stone floor. His head, shaved for purity, is anointed with frankincense oil, its scent lingering as he steps into the temple. The air there is heavy with incense, its smoke curling toward the ceiling, mingling with the chants of lower priests. Ptahhotep's voice, resonant and measured, recites hymns to Amen, his hands offering lotus flowers, their petals soft against his fingers. The temple, with its towering statues and golden altars, is a stage for his authority. The air alive with the clink of offerings and the murmur of devotion. Nefertari, his wife, commands the household with equal grace. Her chambers are adorned with frescoes of goddesses Isis, Hathor, their eyes inlaid with lapis, their colors glowing in the lamplight. She wears a pleated linen dress, its fabric translucent, adorned with a collar of turquoise and carnelian beads. Her servants apply kohl to her eyes, its black powder sharpening her gaze, and ochre to her cheeks, its scent faintly earthy. The air carries the sweetness of lotus perfume, a luxury that sets her apart from villagers like Meret. Nefertari oversees banquets, their tables laden with roasted goose, figs, and honeyed cakes. The guests nobles, priests, scribes, reclining on cushioned chairs, their laughter calculated but warm. The air is rich with wine and myrrh, a backdrop to alliances forged over shared cups. Yet beneath this public facade lay hidden indulgences, desires that connected the elite to the broader world. The elite, like Ptahhotep, might seek private pleasures in the city's shadowed corners, their visits discreet but not unknown. Picture a noble slipping from the palace at dusk, his cloak plain to avoid notice, his steps leading to a house of leisure near the Nile. The air there is heavy, with perfume not unlike the embalmer's myrrh, and the soft strum of a harp echoes through curtained rooms. These spaces, though not the focus of our story, were part of Egypt's rhythm, where the elite's coins mingled with those of artisans and laborers, their desires a fleeting equalizer. The air, scented with lotus and wine, carried a shared humanity, its warmth a contrast to the temple's solemnity. The elite's connection to mummification was profound, their wealth shaping their eternal journey. Tehotep's tomb, carved deep into the cliffs, is a monument of preparation, its walls painted with spells from the Book of the Dead, its chambers filled with gold masks and jeweled amulets. The air in the tomb, though sealed, carries the faint scent of resin, a reminder of Hetty's workshop where his mummy will be crafted. Nefertari, too, plans for eternity, her jewelry destined for her sarcophagus, her prayers to Hathor a daily ritual. The embalmers, though marginal, are vital to this vision, their hands shaping the elite's legacy, their natron and linen a bridge to the afterlife. The air in Hetty's workshop, thick with resin and salt, is a humbler echo of the temples. Incense, its purpose no less sacred. Contrast this with the villagers' lives, where Tehotep dines on honeyed cakes. Amen eats flatbread by the Nile, its crust gritty with sand, where Nefertari bathes in a private pool. Meret washes in the river, its water cloudy with silt. The elite's wealth buys them discretion. There, indulgences hidden behind palace walls, while villagers live openly, their lives exposed to the sun's glare. Yet both share the same fierce disease, death, the uncertainty of eternity. The mummification process, overseen by priests like Neboman, binds them, the air in the tomb carrying the same prayers. Whether for a noble's gold-adorned mummy or a villager's simple wrappings, the elite's public facades were not without strain. Political rivalries could lead to disgrace, their tombs left unfinished, their names erased from temple walls. The air in the palace, though perfumed, could grow tense with whispers of betrayal. The clink of gold a reminder of fragile alliances. Disease, despite physicians, claimed their children, the air heavy with burning herbs to ward off fever. Tehotep's prayers, lavish with offerings, were as fervent as Amen's, their faith a shared shield against mortality. The embalmer's work, gritty but sacred, was a constant in both worlds. The air in Hetty's workshop, a link to the temple's sanctity. Community was a solace even for the elite. Tehotep hosts priests, their table laden with wine and fish, the air warm with hymns and laughter. Nefertari gathers noble women, their conversation weaving through family and faith, the air scented with lotus and myrrh. These moments, though formal, echo the village's festivals, where Amen and Meret dance by the Nile, their voices rising to Osiris. The embalmers, though set apart, are part of this web, Hetty sharing bread with his apprentices, the air heavy with resin but light with camaraderie. The air, whether in palace or workshop, carries the scent of connection, a reminder of Egypt's shared heartbeat. As we linger in this world of gold and shadows, we'll see the elite not as distant figures, but as part of Egypt's rhythm, their indulgences and facades woven into the mummification process that define their legacy. Their lives, like Hetty's and Amen's, were shaped by faith and vulnerability. Their stories a thread in the land's eternal tapestry. Now, as we step away from their perfumed halls, we turn to the gritty realities of hygiene once more, where the elite and embalmers faced the same unseen challenges. Disgusting hygiene, the unseen grime of Egyptian burial practices. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of an embalmer's workshop in Saqqara, the air thick with the scent of natron, resin, and the faint dampness of the Nile nearby. The Sun hangs low, casting a warm amber glow across the mud brick walls, their surfaces stained with the residue of countless rituals. Inside, the soft clink of bronze tools and the rustle of linen strips create a quiet rhythm, a sacred hum of preparation. This is the world of mummification, where embalmers like Hetty, guided by priests like Nabaman, worked to preserve the dead for eternity, their craft steeped in reverence but marked by the gritty realities of hygiene. The burial practices of ancient Egypt, though sacred, were shaped by the same challenges of cleanliness that touched villagers like Amun and nobles like Tehotep. Let us wander gently through this unseen world, not to dwell on its miascences, but to feel the textures of their struggle, the sticky resin, the cloudy water, the faint hope of purity that bound them in a land of eternal aspirations. Hygiene, in the context of mummification, was a delicate balance, its practices a blend of ritual necessity and practical limitation. Picture Hetty in his workshop, his linen kilt dusted with natron, his hands stained with the dark, viscous resin that seals a mummy's wrappings. The workshop is dimly lit, oil lamps casting flickering shadows on walls painted with images of Anubis, their colors softened by smoke and time. A clay jug of Nile water sits on a shelf, its contents murky with silt, used sparingly to cleanse the body before the natron's drying work begins. The air is heavy, carrying the sharp bite of salt, the sweetness of myrrh, and the faint musk of the body's early decay, a scent softened by cedar oil but never fully erased. Hetty's hands, though washed with care, remain sticky, the resin clinging to his skin, a constant mark of his trade. The mummification process itself was a study in hygiene's limits. The initial cleansing, a sacred act, involved washing the body with Nile water. Poured from a bronze ewer, its surface cool but clouded with sediment. The air carries the earthy temps of the river, mingled with the faint scent of lotus flowers. Offered to Anubis in a small clay bowl. Natron, spread in thick layers, dries the flesh, its crystals glinting like sand in the lamplight. But the process is slow, the air growing damp with humidity, the scent of decay lingering until the drying is complete. Hetty's tools a bronze knife, a reed hook. A bone scraper are wiped with linen scraps, their edges dulled by use, their surfaces never fully clean. The air, thick with resin and salt, is a reminder of the workshop's relentless purpose. Organs, removed with care, are placed in canopic jars, their alabaster surfaces smooth, their lids carved with the sons of Horus. The air around them carries the scent of resin, used to seal the organs. But the process is messy, the jar's interiors stained with fluids, the workshop's floor scattered with natron dust. Hetty burns rue and chamomile, their smoke curling through the room to ward off insects. But the damp air attracts flies, their buzz a constant challenge. The linen wrappings, wound tightly, are soaked in resin, their texture sticky against his fingers, the air heavy with myrrh as he tucks amulet scarabs, eyes of Horus between layers. The workshop's hygiene, though meticulous by necessity, is imperfect. The air a blend of sacred scents and earthy realities. Contrast this with the elite's world, where hygiene was a symbol of status but not immune to Egypt's challenges. Picture Tehotep in his palace, stepping from a private bathing chamber, its faience tiles gleaming in the lamplight. Servants pour Nile water from silver ewers, its surface shimmering but faintly cloudy, their hands using linen cloths to cleanse. His skin? The air carries the sweetness of lotus oil, but the water, drawn from the same Nile as Hetty's, carries silt and unseen risks. Nefertari, his wife, applies cosmetic skull, malachite, ochre, their powders mixed with fat, their scent heavy, but fleeting. These mixtures, though luxurious, could irritate the skin, their lead content a silent threat. The air in the palace, perfumed with myrrh, masks the grit. But the Nile's impurities linger. A shared burden with the village. Villagers like Amen face hygiene with even fewer resources. Picture Moret washing in the Nile. Its current cool, but clouded with waste, her hands scrubbing with a rag, the air thick with the scent of river mud. Their home, a mud brick hut, is swept daily, but the earth floor traps dust, the air heavy with flies. Disease is a constant threat, spread through shared water or the market's bustle. The air scented with burning herbs to ward off fever. Hetty, in his workshop, faces similar risks. The bodies he handles carrying potential illness. The air thick with natron dust that irritates his lungs. He wears a faience amulet, its scarab shape, a plea for protection. But the workshop's dampness breeds sickness. The air a mix of resin and worry. Public sanitation was minimal, even for the elite. Palaces had latrines, stone benches over pits. Their air heavy with the odor of waste, softened by natron or herbs. In villages, waste was carried to ditches, the air thick with flies, the scent of decay a constant. Hetty's workshop, with no formal latrine, relies on a nearby trench. The air carrying the faint tang of refuse. The Nile, where all water returns, is a shared challenge, its currents carrying the city's waste, its scent earthy but tainted. The air, whether in palace or workshop, carries this reality, a reminder of hygiene's limits in a land dependent. On the river, the mummification process, though sacred, amplified these challenges. The air in Hetty's workshop, heavy with natron and resin, is a space of both purity and grit. The bodies cleansed with cedar oil still carry the scent of mortality in their early stages. The air thick until the natron's work is done. The linen, wound with care, traps dust and resin, its texture sticky, the air warm with the effort of wrapping. Priests like Nebomen, overseeing the process, ensure ritual purity. But the workshop's reality's damp floors, stained tools. The air carries their prayers, the scent of myrrh, a shield against the grime. But the struggle for cleanliness is unending. The elite, though cushioned by wealth, shared these vulnerabilities. Tehotep's baths, though private, use the same Nile. Water, their air scented with lotus but not free of silt. Nefertari's cosmetics, applied with care, can cause rashes, their beauty, a fragile mask. Disease, like death, is a great equalizer. The air in palace and workshop heavy with burning herbs against fever. Hetty's prayers to Anubis, Tehotep's to Ammon. Their faith is a shared hope. Their rituals a defense against the unseen. The air, whether perfumed or gritty, carries this connection. A reminder of their shared humanity, community offers solace in both worlds. In the workshop, Hetty shares bread with his apprentices. Their laughter a brief respite, the air warm with camaraderie. In the palace, Nefertari hosts noblewomen, their conversation weaving through faith and family, the air scented with wine. Villagers like Amen gather by the Nile, their festivals alive with drums and the scent of roasted fish. These moments, though different in scale, are a balm, the air carrying the warmth of connection. The embalmers, though stigmatized, are part of this web. Their work a necessity that binds them to the elite and the village. As we linger in this world of natron and Nile water, we see not just the struggle for hygiene, but the resilience it fostered. The elite's polished rituals, the embalmer's gritty craft. The villagers' daily toil, these are the textures of Egyptian life, as vital as its pyramids or gods. Now, as we step away from this unseen grime, we turn to a final reflection, weaving together the threads of our journey to ease you toward rest. Asterisk as we draw our journey through ancient Egypt to a close. Imagine yourself standing on a quiet bank of the Nile, the river's surface shimmering under a starlit sky. The air is cool, carrying the scent of lotus flowers and the faint breath of the desert beyond. The villages, with their mud brick homes, fade into shadow, their hearths glowing softly. The palaces of Thebes and Memphis, their alabaster walls, gleaming stand as distant beacons, their lamps flickering like stars. We have wandered through the lives of Egypt's people-lamens toil in the fields, Hetty's craft in the workshop, Tehotep's rituals in the temple, Nebamon's oversight of the dead. We've uncovered the artifacts of mummification, felt the grit of their hygiene, witnessed the calamities that tested their spirit, and explored the customs that bound them to eternity. The embalmers' workshops, with their natron and resin, were a heartbeat in Egypt's rhythm, where the elite's gold and the villagers' prayers met. Their hopes for the afterlife a shared thread. The customs we've explored, strange, gritty, yet deeply human, were as ordinary to them as the Nile's flood or the scent of bread baking at dawn. Egypt was a land of contrasts, alabaster palaces and muddy fields, wealth and want, purity. And grim, yet it was bound by a shared faith, a need to endure, to connect, to leave a mark. A potter's jar, a priest's hymn, a scarab amulet, these were the traces of their lives. As enduring as the pyramids down, as you rest in the comfort of the present, let Egypt's world slip gently away. The clink of tools, the hum of prayers. The weight of their struggles, they fade into the past. Their stories a soft lullaby to carry you towards sleep. Imagine yourself drifting, the Nile's ripple softening, its scents and sounds blending into the quiet of your breath. Horrible events, the calamities that shaped Egypt's tombs and embalmers. Asterisk. Picture yourself standing on a rocky outcrop overlooking the Valley of the Kings. The air warm and dry, carrying the faint scent of desert dust and the distant ripple of the Nile. The sun dips low, casting long shadows across the cliffs, their surfaces carved with tomb entrances, each a silent gateway to eternity. The quiet is deceptive, for ancient Egypt was a land where calamity could strike without warning, reshaping the lives of embalmers like Hetty, priests like Neboman, and villagers like Ammon. Floods, tomb robberies, and invasions tested their resilience, leaving scars on the land and its people. These events, though grim, were part of the rhythm of Egypt, their impact felt in the workshops, temples, and fields. Let us wander gently through these moments, not to dwell on their darkness, but to feel the textures of their endurance. Crumbling stone, the scattered natron, the whispered prayers that wove them into Egypt's eternal story. Tomb robberies were a persistent shadow, a violation of the sacred. Imagine a moonless night in Thebes, the air cool and still, the cliffs shrouded in darkness. Thieves, their footsteps muffled, slip into a noble's tomb, their torches casting flickering shadows on painted walls. The air carries the scent of dust and resin, disturbed for the first time in centuries. They pry open a sarcophagus, its wood creaking to plunder gold amulets and jeweled scarabs, leaving linen wrappings torn and scattered. The air grows heavy with the scent of broken cedar, a desecration of the embalmer's work. Hetty, hearing of such thefts, feels a quiet grief, his hands having shaped those mummies, his natron and resin now scattered. The air in his workshop, thick with myrrh, carries a new weight, the loss of eternity's promise. Villagers like Ammon, though distant from the tombs, feel the ripple of such crimes. The air in the village grows tense, guards patrolling the paths, their spears glinting in the torchlight. Thefts disrupt the economy, the elite like Tehotep tightening their purses, their commissions for mummies delayed. The air in the temple, where Neboman prays, is heavy with incense. But his chants to Anubis carry a plea for protection, the violation of tombs a wound to the gods. The scent of myrrh, once sacred, now mingles with the dust of betrayal, the air a reminder of the fragility of Egypt's sacred spaces. Invasions, too, cast a long shadow over the embalmer's world. Picture a year when foreign armies Hyksos, perhaps from the north, march toward Memphis, their chariots kicking up dust, the air thick with the scent of sweat and metal. Villages like Amon's are abandoned, families fleeing with clay jars. And woven mats, the air heavy with fear. Hetty's workshop, vulnerable on the city's edge, is boarded up, his natron jars hidden, his bronze tools wrapped in linen. The air, once sharp with salt, grows stale, the scent of resin fading as work halts. The elite, in their palaces, fortify their walls, the air scented with burning herbs to ward off panic. Tehotep's prayers in the temple grow fervent, the air thick with myrrh, his offerings of gold a plea for divine favor. Floods, as we've seen, were a recurring calamity, their waters both life and destruction. Imagine a season when the Nile overflows, its muddy torrent sweeping through Saqqara's workshops. The air is heavy with the scent of silt and decay, the sound of rushing water drowning out the village's hum. Hetty's workshop floods, its mud brick walls softening, his natron soaked, his linen ruined. The air carries the musk of wet earth, a reminder of the labor lost. Amon's fields, drowned, yield no grain, the air thick with the scent of rotting crops. Even Tehotep's palace, on higher ground, feels the strain, its storerooms lean, the air scented with worry. The Nile, Egypt's heart, becomes its burden. The air heavy with the scent of loss, disease followed such calamities. It spread swift in the damp air. Picture a plague sweeping through the village. The air thick with burning chamomile and rue. Their smoke, a faint hope against fever. Hetty, handling bodies is at risk. The air in his workshop heavy with natron, but unable to ward off illness. His apprentices fall ill, their cots empty, the air carrying the scent of grief. Amon and Meret in their hut burn herbs to protect their children, the air warm with their prayers to Sekhmet, the goddess of healing. The elite, like Tehotep, consult physicians, their remedies costly but uncertain. The air in the palace, heavy with frankincense. Disease, like the Nile, spares no one, its shadow falling on workshop and palace alike. These calamities tested Egypt's spirit but fostered resilience. Picture Hetty rebuilding his workshop, his hands stacking mud bricks. The air warm with the scent of drying natron. Amon replants his fields, his hoe breaking the soil, the air carrying the hope of a new harvest. Tehotep, in the temple, offers gold to Amon, the air thick with incense, his voice steady despite the chaos. Neboman, overseeing the ensures rituals continue, the air in the workshop scented with myrrh, a testament to their endurance. The air, though heavy with loss, carries the warmth of community. Hetty, sharing bread with his apprentices, Amen dancing at a festival. Tehotep, chanting with priests. The embalmer's work, though disrupted, was a constant in these crises. Hetty's hands, stained with resin, shape mummies that endure the air in his workshop, a blend of grit and grace. The elite's gold, the villager's prayers. The priest's chants, these are threads in Egypt's fabric, their strength tested, but unbroken. The air, whether in tomb or village, carries their hope. The scent of lotus and myrrh, a reminder of their shared faith in eternity. As we linger in this world of flood and shadow, we see not just the calamities, but the people, their resilience. Their rituals, their quiet defiance. Their lives, like the mummies they crafted, were a testament to endurance. Their stories a heartbeat in Egypt's rhythm. Now, as we step away from these turbulent moments, we turn to the beliefs that guided them, the spiritual threads that wove their world together. The role of religion and superstition in mummification. Imagine yourself standing before a small shrine in Hetty's workshop. The air heavy with the scent of burning myrrh and the faint glow of an oil lamp casting shadows on a clay statuette. Of Anubis, its jackal eyes glinting with inlaid faience. The Nile murmurs nearby, its rhythm a quiet backdrop to the workshop's sacred hum. In ancient Egypt, religion and superstition were the heartbeat of mummification, guiding every step of the embalmer's craft, from the natron spread to the final wrapping. Priests like Nebamin, embalmers like Heti, and villagers like Ammon were bound by a shared faith in the afterlife, their rituals steeped in devotion to gods like Osiris and Anubis. These beliefs, preserved in artifacts and tombs, were as vital as the Nile's flood, their mysteries a thread in Egypt's eternal story. Let us wander gently through this spiritual world, not to unravel its secrets, but to feel the textures. Of their faith, the cool amulets, the inked spells, the whispered hymns that shape the mummies we uncover today. Religion was the foundation of mummification. Its rituals a map for the soul's journey. Picture Heti beginning his work with a prayer to Anubis, his voice soft in the workshop's dim light, the air thick with myrrh. The statuette, adorned with a wilted lotus flower, stands in a niche, its clay surface worn from years of offerings. The air carries the sweetness of incense, a plea for divine guidance as Heti spreads natron over a body, its crystals glinting like sand. The act is sacred, each step cleansing, drying, wrapping guided by hymns inked in the Book of the Dead, a papyrus scroll that will rest in the tomb. The air, though heavy with resin, is alive with faith, the scent of myrrh a bridge to the gods. Osiris, the god of the afterlife, was central to these beliefs. Imagine a tomb's walls, painted with scenes of Osiris judging souls, his green skin. Glowing in the torchlight, a feather of truth on his scales. The air carries the faint mustiness of stone, mingled with the scent of resin from the mummy nearby. Villagers like Ammon offer clay figures of Osiris at roadside shrines, their hands trembling with hope, the air warm with their prayers. The elite, like Tehotep, dedicate gold amulets to Osiris, their surfaces etched with his name, the air in the temple thick with frankincense. Heti, in his workshop, places a scarab over the mummy's heart, its green faience a symbol of rebirth. Its weight a prayer for Osiris's favor. Superstition wove through these rituals, a quiet undercurrent of fear and hope. Picture Heti wearing a faience amulet, its eye of Horus glinting as he works, believed to ward off evil spirits. The air carries the scent of rue, burned to protect against curses, its smoke curling through the workshop. Villagers like Meret tie scarab beads to their children's wrists, their blue glaze a shield against harm, the air warm with whispered charms. Even the elite, like Nefertari, keep amulets in their chambers, their gold surfaces etched with spells, the air scented, with lotus to appease restless souls. The fear of the underworld's trials, described in the Book of the Dead, shaped these practices, the air heavy with the weight of unseen dangers. Artifacts reveal the depth of these beliefs. In a Saqqara tomb, archaeologists uncover a papyrus scroll, its spells inked in red and black, guiding the soul past serpents and demons. The air in the tomb, though stale, seems to carry the echo of those words, their power undimmed. A faience scarab found in a villager's grave bears a prayer to Ra, its surface worn from use, the air around it carrying the scent of ancient resin. Canopic jars, their lids carved with the sons of Horus, stand in rows, their alabaster surfaces. Cool, the air thick with the memory of rituals. These objects preserved in the sand are a testament to Egypt's faith. Their textures a link to the hands that shaped them. The empire's diversity enriched these beliefs. Nubian workers might place a lion amulet in a tomb, its shape a nod to their gods, the air carrying the scent of foreign spices. A Levantan priest, chanting alongside Nebomin, blends hymns to Baal with Osiris, the air a mosaic of voices. A bead in a Luxor tomb, etched with a Hittite symbol, hints at trade or travel, its blue glaze a spark in the dim light. The air in the workshop, thick with myrrh and cedar, carries this blend, a reminder of Egypt's place in a wider world. These beliefs, though rooted in the Nile, were shaped by the hands and prayers of many. The mummification process itself was a ritual of faith. Hetty's hands, sticky with resin, place amulets with care, the air heavy with the scent of myrrh, as he chants softly. The linen, wound tightly, is a prayer in motion, its layers a cocoon for the soul. The air, though gritty with natron, is sacred, the scent of incense a constant. Bowman, overseeing the process, ensures each spell is correct, the air in the temple echoing with his voice. Villagers like Ammon, with simpler mummies, share this faith. Their clay scarabs as potent as gold, the air in their shrines warm with hope. As we linger in this world of faith and superstition, we see not just the rituals, but the people. Embalmers' prayers, the priests' chants, the villagers' amulets. Their beliefs, preserved in the artifacts, were as vital as the Nile's flood. Their stories a heartbeat in Egypt's rhythm. Now, as we step away from this sacred world, we turn to a final reflection, weaving together the threads of our journey to guide you toward rest. Asterisk, as we draw our journey through ancient Egypt to a close. Picture yourself standing on a quiet bank. Of the Nile, the river's surface a silver mirror under a starlit sky. The air is cool, carrying the scent of lotus flowers and the faint breath of the desert beyond. The villages, their mud brick homes fading into shadow, glow softly with the light of hearths. The palaces of Thebes and Memphis, their alabaster walls, gleaming, stand as distant beacons, their lamps flickering like stars. We have wandered through the lives of Egypt's peopleman's toil in the fields, Hetty's craft in the workshop, Tehotep's rituals in the palace, Nebamon's oversight. In the temple, we've explored the artifacts of mummification, felt the grit of their hygiene, witnessed the calamities that tested their spirit, and uncovered the customs and beliefs that bound them to eternity. The embalmers' workshops, with their natron and resin, were a heartbeat in Egypt's rhythm, where the elite's gold and the villagers' prayers met, their hopes for the afterlife a shared thread. The customs we've explored, gritty, sacred, deeply human, were as ordinary to them as the Nile's flood or the scent of bread baking at dawn. The calamities, floods, plagues, invasions, theft tested their endurance, yet their faith, woven through scarabs and spells, held firm. Egypt was a land of contrasts, alabaster palaces and muddy fields, wealth and want, purity and grime, but it was bound by a shared devotion, a need to endure, to connect, to leave a mark. A potter's jar, a priest's hymn, a faience amulet, these were the traces of their lives. As enduring as the pyramids down, as you rest in the comfort of the present, let Egypt's world slip gently away. The clink of tools, the hum of prayers. The weight of their struggles, they fade into the past, their stories a soft lullaby to carry you toward sleep. Imagine yourself drifting, the Nile's ripples softening, its scents and sounds blending into the quiet of your breath. The workshop's lamps dim, the temple's chants still, and all that remains is the warmth of this moment, the peace of rest. Let the past rest with it, and let your mind float freely, carried by the gentle tide of history into a calm and restful night.